Some disturbing video released by the Los Angeles Police Department. It shows a man attacking a teenage girl at a fast food restaurant. Police say the man, seen here in the blue shirt, started arguing with the girl over who was in line first, and as you see, he got so angry he punched the girl several times. He then fled the restaurant with his children. The girl was treated for her injuries. Police are looking for the man. For MSNBC.com, I'm Dara Brown.
We are now joined by Nancy Grace, the host of Nancy Grace on HLN, joining us from Orlando, and ABC's legal analyst Dan Abrams here in New York. And Dan, I'd like to start with you. What are the chances we'll see Casey Anthony walking out of that jail today?
I think they're pretty good. She's facing 4 first-degree misdemeanor counts, each of which faces up to a year in prison. She's already served almost 3 years. So even
in harsh circumstances, isolation 23 hours a day.
Yeah, even though that probably wouldn't factor into the judge's decision as to the length of time. But when you're talking about someone who's already served almost 3 years for crimes where the maximum, even if the judge were to put them together, would be up to 4 years. And that would be very unlikely that any judge would give the max, although it's possible. It is possible this judge is going to say, not only is she going to get the max, but I'm going to force her to serve them consecutively, meaning one sentence after the other, which would lead to a 4-year sentence, and she could serve some more time.
And Nancy, we just heard Jose Baez and the prosecutors express some fear about Casey Anthony's safety if, in fact, she walks out of that jail today. Is that a valid concern, do you think?
Yes, I do think it's a valid concern because so many people are up in arms about the verdict. Speaking as to whether she'll get out, most likely she will. Here's the deal. 4 years is the maximum sentence on this. She's already served 997 days. Jail time usually counts day for day. Good behavior. So she's done well over the amount she'd have to do to get out of jail today at 9 o'clock this morning. As to top mom Casey Anthony, I was really struck by Jose Baez's statements that she was a good mom. I don't know what world he's living in, but partying all night long and leaving your girl most likely in the car trunk as the babysitter is not being a good mom.
But Nancy, we also heard the alternate juror that I interviewed yesterday say the same thing, that he thought she was, quote, a good mother. Why do you think the jurors bought into that if, in fact, they were not swayed by that 31 days of lying and partying?
Well, what some of the jurors have said is that their first vote for murder 1 was 10-2. When it got to manslaughter, as to negligence of a child, as to whether you're a good mother or not, their big bone of contention was who's really the mother, who's the caretaker. That they were actually split as to whether Cindy Anthony should have been taking the care of the child when she drowned, or whether Tot Mom should have been. So I don't know if that's such a great reflection that she's a good mother. But speaking of safety, a bunch of sheriffs just ran into the courthouse wearing gas masks. Now, I don't know what that means to you two, but that means to me that there's a problem in the courthouse behind me.
Okay, well, keep an eye on that for us. Dan, you wanted to weigh in?
Yeah.
If it's not first degree and he is going into the sentencing, it might be as soon as Friday. It could be next week. It's assuming it comes down today, and let's just remember if it's later in the week, obviously it would be.
So 3 to 4 days in between.
Correct. Correct. It's most likely next week.
So it would be 48 hours if it's first degree.
Correct.
It would be 48 hours.
If we go to the penalty phase, correct. If it's first degree, then Judge Perry, there will be a penalty phase 48 hours afterwards. That will commence, depending on the hour of the day, pretty much 2 days later. But I think we're pretty solid on the 2 days. So if the verdict should come down today, the penalty phase would begin Thursday. If it's not first degree, if it's anything lesser, then sentencing will commence, assuming she is not found. If she's found innocent, obviously nothing. If she is found guilty of anything lesser, that sentencing would occur at a later date, yet to be determined fairly quickly, most likely next week. It could be as early as Friday if the verdict came down today.
During the day, is she in holding cell on 23rd floor?
There's multiple holding cells throughout the courthouse. She remains in the courthouse.
And what about the alternates? Where are they stationed?
They're at the hotel.
Did you say you couldn't describe the circumstances, like where she's being held?
She's held in the courthouse. in a holding area. She will not be handcuffed or she will just leave the courtroom as she has to date. So she will then be, taken out of the courtroom, and she will be fingerprinted in the courtroom.
If it's less than first degree, is there an automatic PSI?
She's got a felony conviction, so the PSI is not required. So he could do it soon. He could hold that sentencing as soon as Friday, depending on when the verdict, if this happens, all speculating, or it could be the following week or sometime thereafter. I'll let you know if that occurs as quickly as I know.
Will there also be victim impact certificates for that case?
I don't know. I don't know.
How long will she stay in the courthouse? Will she be sent right away to one?
That's security, and we don't comment on that.